Have you ever wondered if ancient parables could change your life? What if the wisdom of the ages could provide answers to the most complex questions of modern times? Today, I will share with you some Buddhist parables that will open new facets of understanding and help you find harmony in today's fast-paced world. Stay with me, and you'll hear stories that may forever change your perception of the world. Parables are a special genre where deep wisdom is conveyed through simple stories. They allow us to see hidden truths and reflect on important matters. The first parable is called The Two Monks and the Girl. Two Buddhist monks were walking along a road and came to a river where a girl was standing. She couldn't cross the turbulent stream. Without hesitation, one of the monks picked her up and carried her across the river. The second monk was shocked, as they were forbidden to touch women. After several hours, unable to contain himself, he asked, "How could you touch her?" To which the first monk replied, "I left the girl by the river, but you are still carrying her." This parable teaches us to let go of unnecessary thoughts and not cling to the past. Often we create burdens for ourselves that hinder our progress. Think about how many times you've worried about things that have already passed instead of living in the present moment. The second parable is The Cup of Tea. A scholar came to a wise man wanting to learn about Buddhism. The wise man offered him a cup of tea and began pouring, not stopping until the tea overflowed. The scholar exclaimed, "The cup is overflowing." The wise man smiled and said, "Like your mind, how can I give you knowledge if you are already full of your own ideas?" This story reminds us of the importance of an open mind and the willingness to learn new things. Sometimes our preconceptions prevent us from seeing the truth. The third parable is The Finger and the Moon. A master pointed to the moon with his finger and said to his student, "That is the truth." The student began looking at the finger instead of the moon. The master noticed this and said, "Do not confuse the finger pointing to the moon with the moon itself. This means that methods and teachings are merely tools, not the ultimate goal. Often, we fixate on forms and forget the essence." It's important to remember that knowledge is a journey, not a final destination. The fourth parable is The Sound of Emptiness. A student asked the master, "What is enlightenment?" The master struck an empty bell, and it made no sound. The student didn't understand. Then the master explained, "When there is nothing inside, true silence and peace arise." This is about how liberation from attachments leads to inner peace. In the modern world, we are often overloaded with information and worries. This parable urges us to find time for silence and self-awareness. The fifth parable is The Traveler and the Tiger. A man was fleeing from a tiger and fell off a cliff, grabbing onto a branch. Above him was the tiger, below was a chasm. He noticed a berry nearby, plucked it, and ate it. "How sweet this berry is," he thought. This teaches us to appreciate the present moment despite difficulties. Life is unpredictable, and only the present moment truly belongs to us. Fill it with joy and gratitude. The sixth parable is Wealth Within. A poor man complained about his fate. A wise man said to him, "If you were offered 1,000,000 for your eyes, would you give them?" "No," the man replied. "What about for your hands or legs?" The wise man continued. "Of course not," he exclaimed. "See, you are already rich. You just don't realize it," said the wise man. This story reminds us to value what we already have. Often we chase external goods, forgetting about the treasures within. The seventh parable is The Two Arrows. Buddha said, "If a person is struck by an arrow, it hurts. But if he suffers because of it, it's like a second arrow." We cannot avoid all unpleasantness, but we can choose how to react to it. Don't add to your suffering with additional negative thoughts. The eighth parable is The Mirror of the Mind. A student asked, "How can I cleanse my mind?" The master replied, "Remove the dust and the mirror will shine." Our mind is like a mirror. When we free it from negative thoughts and emotions, it reflects purity and clarity. The ninth parable is the water jug. The master showed a jug to the student and asked, "Is it full?" He replied, "Yes." The master poured more water into the jug, and it overflowed. "Now it's truly full," he said. This teaches that there is always room for growth and new knowledge. Never think you've reached the limit. Always strive for development and improvement. The 10th parable is the camel and the needle's eye. A man asked, "How can I achieve enlightenment?" The wise man replied, "Like a camel passing through the eye of a needle." This means one must free oneself from ego and attachments to reach higher states of consciousness. In the modern world, this may mean letting go of excess and focusing on what truly matters. These parables have not lost their relevance today. They help us reflect on life and find answers to important questions. By applying their wisdom in daily life, we can improve ourselves and our relationships with others. Consider which of these stories resonated in your heart. How can you apply its lessons? The wisdom of the ages is accessible to each of us. We just need to open our hearts and minds to it. May these parables become a source of inspiration and a guiding star on your life's journey. Thank you for being with me and listening to these stories. May they bring you benefit and joy. If you enjoyed this video, share it with friends and loved ones. Perhaps they too will find something valuable in it. Your comments and thoughts are very important to me. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss new episodes with wise stories and useful advice. I wish you peace in your soul.